Broadcasting to the world, this is On Call with Chad McCall. In our show, we bring you inspiration, strategies, and insights on how to start, grow, and scale your business.
It's drastically changed my life.
The show is so informative, I just love it. It's honest. It's helped me grow as a person.
Real talk about life, lifestyle, society, and living limitless. Learning from the top influencers across the world, along with industry experts, authorities for you to live your greatest life. It's time to level up.
I'm ready.
I'm ready.
I'm ready.
Here's your host, best-selling author and mentor, Chad McCall.
Welcome to today's episode, and it is going to be a great one. Every episode is for you, and I want you to take away something that can be used immediately in your life or business. This episode is unlike any other episode this season for the listeners. I'm actually going to be having a conversation with the defensive coordinators for the University of Utah football team. Don't worry if you aren't a fan of football or even sports. There's so much you're going to get from this call. If you're a fan of football, you're going to like it even more. There are a few things that I want to let you in on before you listen to this call. I'd like you to listen about how he talks about recruiting players, building relationships, and how this pandemic has changed the way that the collegiate recruiting process works, the way the teams adapt to change and interviews, and the way we do business. And the sales process is just like coaching and recruiting. It's like sales convincing players to join a team and make commitments. In business, we are most successful when we attract our ideal clients. Okay, so if you're an entrepreneur, you know exactly what I mean. This is the same thing when you're a coach and you're building a winning team. Entrepreneurs are so similar to coaches and winning programs. Pay close attention to the process. Adapting is an important part of being a player and a coach. Coaches teach about competing and how to reach goals better than any other profession. There's a formula coaches use for success. Listen as he talks about the day-to-day responsibilities. You must buy into the process. There's no room for selfish players. The end goal is not the focus. The day-to-day is the emphasis to get you to the end goal. They're mentors at every level, no matter what your ability is. Even coaches have coaches. This is truly one of the most powerful episodes, and I hope you can pay close attention. And I'm going to stop a few times at important moments and discuss key takeaways from this call. It was so hard to get him on a call during his off season, and I am lucky that he had the time to share with me and for you listeners. So hang tight while I call Coach Morgan Scalley. Hello, Siri.
Hello, Chad.
Will you give Morgan Scalley a call?
Of course, I would love to call Coach Morgan Scalley.
Hello, this is Coach Scalley.
Coach, this is Chad McCall. How are you?
Brother, what is going on, Chad? How you doing, my man?
I am doing great. How have you been doing in the off season? Tell me something good. What you got cooking?
Well, I tell you what, it's a lot of Zoom meetings. I can tell you that. A lot of Zoom meetings, Google Classroom, finding ways to get our guys the installation they need to hit the ground running once we get, through this.
Talking about that, this has probably been a huge change for coaching for all across sports and every sport, not just in football, but also recruiting. And talk about like new talent, like people that are brand new that the University of Utah is looking to recruit. And, this hampers a lot of meetings and things. And I know because the reason why I'm bringing that up is you've been head of recruiting for such a long time. You've got an eye for talent. What do you do now?
Well, with the guys that we signed last year, we can't start meeting with them until they are enrolled in classes. So everything we're doing with those newcomers right now is simply providing them a weightlifting plan if they have access to weights. If they don't have access to weights, they've got a body weight workout from our strength staff. But right now with those new signees, it's just a matter of getting them through the NCAA compliance hoops, make they finish school the right way, and that they get admitted to the University of Utah. In terms of, looking at new talent for next year's class and beyond, this is a time for us. Normally we would be on the road recruiting, hitting up 8 to 10 schools a day, speaking with high school coaches about their prospects. And that's something obviously that with this pandemic has been put on hold. And so, a lot of what we're doing right now is just recruiting via Zoom, whether it's FaceTime, just finding creative ways to let these prospects know what we're about at the University of Utah. But the hard part is guys that when you watch their film, there's a few, one or two things missing, and you really wanted to go see them in person. That's what we're lacking, is that face-to-face interaction. Not that we can contact them during this period, but the ability that, for example, I would have to watch them practice, to see them move, to see them respond to coaching, to see them respond to adversity if it arises. That's stuff that is invaluable to us that kind of we're missing right now. And so, that's, I think everyone's living with that right now in terms of the coaching profession.
There's a lot more that you look for just in, physical ability. You're looking for the other things, it's almost like between the years. And just from me knowing you, and you're looking for more than just on the field. You're looking for those intangible things too, it sounds like. And are you able to get those conversations, like, coming from your players that just are new to the team? Can you still learn that through Zoom calls and, or phone calls? Tell me what you listen for to really pick up a.
Right, right. And so, yeah, I mean, ultimately every kid is different. Every kid has a different upbringing, different background, so you have to take that into account. You really do as much homework as possible on the young man, and talking to the head coach is a big part of it, but sometimes that head coach may be new to the program. So in that case, you got to track down the old head coach, track down their position coach, speak with teachers at the school, the principal, anyone that can give you really a character reference on the young man and what they're about. The in person, our ability to watch them practice that we had before this gives you the opportunity to watch them compete, to see how they handle coaching. Are they lazy? Are they workers? Are they self starters, self motivators? Or are they guys that pout and complain when they get coached? Right? We are a tough program. We are a tough program. We demand a lot, and so when we go out on the road recruiting, what we're looking for: tough-minded individuals, guys that that if they get homesick, they can fight through it. Right? That you can get coached hard, and it's just going to make you better, versus the guys that sulk, that pout, that put their head down, that can't be coached. Those are the guys that end up just really not having success at the University of Utah and end up quitting. So really, you're looking for everything you can, right, in the classroom. When you're looking at a transcript, is this a guy that has a low test score, SAT or ACT, but he's got really good grades in the classroom? To me, that's someone that is a competitor, that is fighting for every grade that they can get, right? Versus the high test score, low grades. Well, that's someone that's very intelligent probably, but lazy in about how they go about doing their business. So you really are looking at everything, Chad. And on these Zoom calls, do they look you in the eye on the Zoom meetings, right? Do they look you in the eye? Do they take the time to sit down, or are they always on the move, not really listening to you? We're looking for team guys. So if I'm recruiting a wide receiver that I want to play defensive back, my first question is going to be, how do you feel about playing defensive back? And if they hem and haw and they take their time answering that question, really, to me, that's a turnoff, because you're looking for guys like Terrell Burgess, that they're a wide receiver but willing to do anything for the team. That's part of the reason why he got drafted in the third round. Same thing with Julian Blackman. Played wide receiver in high school, played corner for us. We moved him to safety. You got to be willing to do what it takes, to win as a team and for the best of the team. Those are the guys that have had success at the University of Utah because they're willing to do whatever the coach asks.
Well, and Coach, you have how many All-Americans? Like 7 or 10 All-Americans you've coached. You've put 20 or some odd kids. I'm just trying to think in the last 2 seasons into the NFL. you see what it takes to make it to that next level. You're looking at them in the eye. You're looking at body language. Are they, are they open to change? You're having high level conversations and really in depth. You're looking, at more than just physical ability. You keep saying that we're a tough program and it's about succeeding at the University of Utah. What we're demanding from you at the end of the day, you demand that, and that's why you guys have such success finishing, first place in the Pac-12 South, I think, last season. And then you're also putting these kids to the NFL, getting them to buy into that. Is there a mindset you try to instill in them to keep them committed to say, hey, there's a bigger goal? Like, hey, is it not just to win the conference? It's to compete for a national title. What's the mindset when they're there? They've bought into the team.
Well, again, hopefully what you're getting is self-starters, but in terms of we try not to bog them down with the big picture goal, to me, competing every day.
Thanks for listening to On Call with Chad McCall.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you for all you do.
We'll be right back after a brief intermission.
I hope you're enjoying this call with Coach Morgan Scalley. A couple of things I want you to listen to is pay attention to when he says the smaller goals daily equal the bigger goal. Listen to how he talks about time, showing up for things. Showing up on time is actually late. Showing up 5 minutes early is actually on time. And the way they instill that into the mindset of the athletes, it's going to show in the day-to-day things that you do, and they keep reinforcing that. So the system that an organized program has in place to help train, educate, build a winning culture, mentoring, coaching, tutoring, and even the coaches having coaches. All levels, people have coaching and mentoring. It's very important for you to pay attention to here.
It's those smaller goals to get you to the bigger goal. And so, are you on time? Right? Are you on time to your class, to your classes, to your mentor tutor meetings? Are you on time to your weight room sessions? For us in our program, 5 minutes early is on time and on time is late. So, do you weigh what you're supposed to weigh? So you look at Julian Blackman going from corner to safety, he had to put on 15 pounds. And a big contributing factor to his success this year was his success putting on that weight, being able to come downhill and strike and tackle backs that are bigger than him, tight ends. Those are the things that we're looking for. If you buy into our program, it's going to show by the day-to-day little things that you do. We talk about respecting the process, and what the process is everything that the program demands out of you, right? In the classroom, in the weight room, in the film room, all the little things that we ask you to do from day to day. If you're doing those and competing to get them done, you will see the results. And we promise you, it's time tested.
Coach, you teach and coach this philosophy, and you know what gets the results. You're basically,
and that's a great tip for anybody, even in business. And I have a lot of listeners, Coach, that are they're entrepreneurs, they're
really
self-starters, they're working on their
day-to-day goals,
their mindset.
Right?
They're really changing,
and that'll get you to where you want to be.
What you're saying there
is so important for people. Is being a self-starter, but respecting the process
on the field, off the field.
Well, I guess, mentor for us, we have in our program, you basically have an academic team. You have your advisors, you have your mentors. The mentors are simply the academic mentors that sit down together with them. They map out their schedule. They're with them on if you want to get this paper done, here's how it's going to happen. So really, when I mentioned mentors, speaking specifically of those academic mentors that meet with our players and get them where they need to be academically. When you talk about mentors from a football standpoint, those are your coaches and your team leaders. Those are the guys that have been through the process before, that understand what it takes to be successful, and they're instilling in you, the player, what that takes and what it looks like. So, leadership is two things. Leadership is gaining trust and getting results, right? And the trust aspect of it is so important. And you got to be consistent with the players, right? You got to be consistent. They're looking for three things when it comes to trust. That's number one. It's your character. It's who you are as a person. Do you do what you say you're going to do? Do you own up to your mistakes? Are you consistent from day to day? Are you a good person? Period. Right. So character is number one. Competence is number two. How well you know what you're doing and your ability to get them better. Right. It's not how smart you are. It's how you use your knowledge to make other people better. Right. And then the last one, which is the most important in my opinion, is connection. How well do you connect to the player? Do you listen to them? Do you truly listen? Do you care? Do they know that you care? Do you express that? From day to day, not just once in a while, but do they know that you care about them? So that's how you gain trust. And then getting results is all about you as a teacher. It's being clear about what you're after. Okay, clarity, accountability, holding them accountable to the things that you've preached to them. Okay, you can't just tell them to do certain things and then hope that they do them. You got to be able to hold them accountable to it. And then support is the last thing, right? Be there to support them when they ask questions. Be there to support them when they need to know how to do a specific technique. So, for us as a coaching staff, it's gaining trust of the players and then getting results, finding a way to get everything out of them that you can get.
Yeah, I mean, that's the results are proven for what you guys have been doing as a team, as a coaching staff. We see it on the field, we see it every year, with Utah being ranked the way they are. But what do you do for you, coach? Like, how do you hone your skill? Like, what are some tips for other people that are coaches in sports or whatever it may be that they teach people or they have the ability to influence other people through, their trainings and things? What are you doing to hone your craft to get better, to stay ahead of the next person? Because you're in a position by being a coach that you are always having to stay sharp. You know what I mean? Like, what do you do?
Well, the number one is to realize that I don't have all the answers, and I don't claim to, I don't pretend to. There are a lot of smart people out there. There are a lot of people that are doing things better than I'm doing them. I'm just trying to figure out who those people are and how they're doing it. So I do a lot of developmental meetings. I meet with position coaches from different conferences. This past off season, I went to Alabama. I met with Nick Saban and his staff. Went to University of Georgia. Their defensive coordinator Dan Lanning was awesome to have us over there, and we exchanged ideas with the Georgia staff. Been doing meetings with different position coaches, both at the collegiate level and the professional level in the NFL. Just doing everything I can to find out best practices, find out better ways of doing things, how to improve my drills or how I'm teaching. And it's just a nonstop effort to improve what you're doing. Because as soon as you think you've arrived or you've got all the answers, that's when you start going downhill and when you really need to get out of the profession.
So you're always training, you're always asking questions, and that's at every level of the coaching staff. It seems like there's probably always, calling someone up, reaching out there, getting advice, getting tips, tricks, and you want to get better and you use all the resources around you to keep it going. And that's what, 14 years now, coach? How long has it been?
Oh man, it's been a while. I think I've stopped counting, but I got in profession at like 2006. So whatever that is, my first full job was 2008. So, but we owe it to the players. We owe it to the players. They look to us to, for best practices, and they want to know that we've got a coaching staff that is on the cutting edge, that is always looking for ways to improve. And so we owe it to them to give them the best, and that's what we're doing. So, I've got an unbelievable staff with Sharif Shah at the corner spot. You've got Colton Swan, linebackers, D-line with Shoni Puha and Lewis Powell. And they're doing the same thing I'm doing, finding ways to improve and get better, listening to podcasts, whatever it is we can do to be on the cutting edge. That's what we're doing.
And if there was one thing you could say, like coming from Coach Whittingham, like, what was one of the best pieces of advice that he's given you? Saying, you know what, I can't ever forget that. That's one of the most important things I've been told.
It's all about the players. It's all about the players. We are in this profession because there are football players, and it's not the other way around. Good players make good coaches, and bad players don't win you any games and get you fired. So it's all about the players and the players that you recruit to your program, how you develop them. With Coach Whittingham, the players always eat first, the coaches always eat last. When we fly on a plane, the players, particularly upperclassmen, they sit in first class, and the coaches are going to be sitting in the back of the plane. It's all about the players, and in everything you do, you need to have the player in mind. So that's one thing and it's a huge reason why Utah's had success, in my opinion, is they feel that and they know that how much we care about them and that they come number one, and it's not the coaches first.
Well, that's a sign of selflessness right there. And I don't know how many people knew that, Coach. I didn't know that. And, I've, several of my friends are players, that are playing on that next level, and they actually never have told me that. So if you're in business, your clients first. If you're a coach, it's your players. It's those acts of selflessness that'll set you apart. And you're relating that to success too. I'm sure that's got a big thing when it comes to the players and you guys just leading by example that way. That's awesome. I never knew that.
Well, I appreciate it. It's again, Coach Witt has done such an unbelievable job of instilling that in us, and every coach that leaves this program, in my opinion, has left knowing that that's how to do it, and they move on and they coach at other places, whether it's a Kalani Sitake, whether it's a Gary Anderson. He's had plenty of coaches leave to go and become head coaches or coordinators. And you can see the mark that he has left on each and every one of those coaches because they do the same thing in their programs.
Well, and that's a kind of an interesting point you just brought up. Those coaches are having great success at the next spots that they're all going to. And we love seeing you at Utah. We hope that you're there for the next 20 or 30 years. And maybe I won't ask you that question, but hopefully one day we're going to see you there, retiring as a Utah Utes head coach.
Well, I'm just putting my head down and grinding away. I've got a family that is here that I don't want to ever have to move. I've got a wife that's went to Olympus High School. We can win here and we can win big. And my thoughts are all on the players right now and getting them better.
Well, and you're doing it. And from meeting you, gosh, how long ago was it? Was it like 7 years ago that I think we met originally? I think it might have been somewhere around there at least.
I know it's one of those deals where you just uh, it's almost like this pandemic. You go through it, you're like, what day is it? And you just
Yeah.
it's been a minute, and so I don't even know. But I appreciate appreciate the work that you're doing, and anytime you want to have me on, just let me know.
Well, I've got one question for you. It's about the upcoming season. What can you tell me about what you got cooking that's going to be good for all of my Utah family and friends? Something that that you're only going to tell us right here. What's Utah got in store for this upcoming season?
Oh, geez, I'd get fired if I told you all the secrets. No, the biggest thing is we've got a bunch of young talent, and I'm excited. Signing day is like Christmas Eve. The anticipation is there. You think you know what you got. You're excited. You've asked Santa for what you want. You think you have a pretty good idea of what you're getting, and then when fall camp hits, and they're on campus and they're with you, that's like Christmas Day where you get to tear open the presents and really find out what you got in these recruits. We're excited for the young talent that we have coming into the program. And you're going to see a lot of them this year because we're replacing, at least on the defensive side of the ball, 9 of 11 starters. And so these young cats are going to be a big factor in what we do this next season.
And we can't wait to see the offensive side of the ball too. I mean, quarterbacks, you've got you're stacked in a lot of positions. You've always been deep in running back. We can't wait to see what has happened. We know defense. We know you're always going to be good with that, coach. We know you guys are solid there Sharif and everyone. But before I let you go, I've kept you for a long time. I know you're busy. You've got so many other things to do. I've got 3 questions for you that I'm going to rapid fire at you. You're going to have no idea what they are. Are you ready?
Okay.
All right.
I'm ready.
First one, what's your favorite movie?
Shawshank Redemption.
Oh, all right. Next one, if you were to look at your phone on your playlist, what is the first thing that's going to be playing?
It's either going to be Stevie Wonder or Billy Joel.
Oh, all right. Last one, what's your pet's name?
Red. Is that fitting? Is that fitting or what?
Your pet's name is Red. Awesome. Oh man, you're Ute forever, man. I can't wait. And the interesting thing enough is I've got a couple of other podcasts you're going to listen to them too with a few of your players, Eric Rowe and Kylie Fitz. So I thank you for your time, and I appreciate all you're doing, and keep up the good work up there at Utah.
Take care, brother. Appreciate you, Chad.
Thanks, Coach.
Talk to you later.
This episode was really packed full of info that each listener, I know you can carry it right into your life or your business right away. The best part of this call was you could feel the energy talking to Coach Scalley and how passionate he is about his profession. As a listener, I know each of you have had this passion, and you've been told that you have this passion about your new business, your idea, or maybe something else. When you talk about it, others can feel it. Don't ever hold back telling people how you feel about it is what you do. And most importantly, they should all know what you do anyway. In many of my episodes, you can pick up on the calls, and you can tell that these professionals and experts and influencers love what they're doing, and you can feel it. Coach Scalley talked about how he focuses on the little things of importance with the kids and the mentoring and the on-field and off-field coaching, and coaches needing coaching, leading by example, even sitting in the back of the plane with the coaches, being selfless. That part was so awesome. And just, us being in the coaching and mentoring profession, you guys need to think about that. Like, with your past clients, are your intentions in the right place? Are they leaving you and your program better off than when they came in? That's something that should stick with us all. Don't lose sight of what you do and why you started. You're always going to be rewarded if you're doing the right thing. The label of a coach or a mentor is something you should be so proud of and cherish it, because I do. Thanks again. Until the next time, don't forget, you are always on call.
Thank you for listening, and we hope you enjoyed today's episode. Don't forget to subscribe, and remember, friends, you are always on call.